What's going on? What's going on? How are y'all doing? I hope everybody's having a fantastic day. My name is Kojo. As you can see, I'll put the little thing that we put at the beginning of every show up on here. But my name is Kojo. I'm checking in from what was a sunny but kind of cold day here in Los Angeles, California, and we have another exciting topic to talk about for the late night show today. 3 reasons why dating sucks today. So we're gonna get into it, and I'm gonna do my best to talk about it comprehensively. Right, this is not what guys are doing wrong. This is not what girls are doing wrong, and I'm even doing my best to shift away from heteronormative language. Right, but for the purposes of this talk, I may say a guy and a girl, but keep in mind that this is for any type of relationship. Right, so. Let's go ahead and introduce ourselves in the chat, and let's get into it. So Lily says, "Oh, I am here." Lily, what's going on? We got Amy from Vermont, Mrs. Sparky. I'm doing good. How about you? We got Muffet from upstate New York. What's up, Double Muffet, Mrs. Muffet? How you doing? We got Crystal from Tennessee. Hey, my boy, my boy Thomas. Yo, I went to school with Thomas. This is my guy. Hey, thank you so much, my guy. I appreciate you. Love you, man. That's my guy. Got Tiffany from Ohio. We got Tristan from Quebec. And Claire, you're right. There's more than 3 reasons why dating sucks today. We can't we can't boil it down to 3, but I got 3 main talking points, right, that we can expand on. But 3 main reasons why I believe dating sucks today. We got Love from Oklahoma. We got Maria from Maryland. Andrew from St. Louis, Winnipeg in the house. Netherlands in the house. Let me see. Telling a man no thanks and he goes stalking you across different social media platforms. Oh wow, Mickey Ficky. Toronto in the house, Vermont, London. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about it. So dating, if you're married, right? If you're watching this live stream and you're married, this may not make a lot of sense to you depending on when you got married, right? If you got married 10 years ago and you're watching this live stream, a lot has changed in 10 years. A lot has changed in the dating landscape within 10 years. So some of this information might seem like it's kind of foreign, but dating, you have to put yourself in the shoes of somebody who is in the current dating landscape today. It sucks, but all hope is not lost, right? We're going to spin it back around to where we can fix things, but it does kind of suck today, right? So we're going to talk about it and get into it. And Joey says, "Hey, Kojo, so glad I've been with someone for 13 years. I'd be scared to date now," right? And Jody, why would you be scared, right? And somebody else is saying, "I feel so lucky I'm not dating right now." Sheesh. It's like that. It's like that. Well, let's go ahead and get into it. I'll give you all the very first reason why I think dating sucks, and hopefully this can make somewhat of an impact for somebody out there. All right. So number 1, the reason why I'm autistic to social situations sucks. Jessica, we're gonna talk about all that. We're gonna talk about all that, but let's start with the first one. Number 1. We don't know our boundaries, right? And I've been telling y'all, and I remind myself of this many times. We have to know our boundaries before we get into the relationship, and boundaries, this goes back to probably the way we were raised, right? If, you were raised in a household where you weren't able to express yourself and you weren't able to figure out what you like, what you don't like, then as you become an adult, right, anything goes. And it's harder to appreciate and respect yourself when you don't know what your self-worth is, right? So with boundaries, a lot of times we don't enforce it because we don't want people to leave, but we should be enforcing boundaries, and people who want to stay should stay, and people who want to leave should go ahead and leave, So once we know our boundaries, we're going to respect ourselves more. And once we respect ourselves more, we put ourselves in positions where we can win. And this isn't just with dating, but this is with anything in life, right? We have to be in a position where we can win. So when you go into a relationship and you're not sure what your boundaries are, and somebody's like, "Hey, you want to do so and so," and you're like, yeah. Even here's a better example, right? You enter into a relationship with somebody, and let's say the person says after 2 months, can we open up the relationship, right? And we've talked about polyamorous relationships here, and there's nothing wrong with polyamorous relationship. I'll go ahead and say that. But if you get into a situation and you expect it to be monogamous, and then after 2 months the person's like, can we open up the relationship? If you don't know your boundaries, and I'm not sure what's going on outside that police sound. Hope everything is all right. Mickey Ficky. I'm gonna say a little prayer. I hope everything is all right here in Los Angeles. But yeah, if you are with somebody, right, and that sound, there's no way to like ignore it. It's just coming and it's like, so you can just cut the sirens off all of a sudden. All right, cool. All right. So if like, go back to my example, if you're dating somebody and they want to open up the relationship and you don't want to, and you say, okay, yeah, let's open up the relationship, and you don't really want to, then you're not gonna feel good, right? And as you all open up the relationship, you're gonna feel like, like I just don't feel like I'm being respected. But you agreed to it, right? Because you thought that's what your partner wanted, but that was your boundary, right? So you have to know your boundaries. Is everything all right? I just started hearing the police. Yeah, I hear it too. The police. Mickey Ficky. Hold up. Let me see what's going on. Mickey Ficky. I hope everybody all right. I hope everybody's all right. How do you set up your boundaries? Muffet. How do we set up our boundaries, right? We have to first know what we like and what we don't like, right? So going back to my previous example, if you know you don't want an open relationship, then when that topic comes up, you say, hey, I don't want this, and you have to be firm with it. I don't really want to do this. This doesn't represent who I am as a person. If you like it, cool. If you don't, speak up and say that. Because if you can't speak up for yourself, more than likely you'll probably suffer in silence. All right. Boundaries are my lesson. It's like, yeah, hey, and there's nothing wrong with learning these things as an adult, right? Should we come? No, we're good. And no, there's no sirens outside my house. I can't even see the sirens, but something's going on. I just hope everybody's all right. If there was something that was going on that I needed to know, my neighbors would let me know because we're pretty close. But they ain't say nothing, so Gobi knows he. Yeah, ADHD is real because I'm doing a live stream, but in the back of my head, I'm thinking, I'm like, I wonder what's going on. Like I'm having a million thoughts in my head, as I always do. That's what I see when I hear sirens. Yeah, I just say a quick prayer. I'm like, God, just take care of whatever's happening out there, and I hope people are okay. All right. And the sirens may not go away for a while, so we just have to keep doing what we got to do. So Jocelyn says, 2 nights in a row, you touch subjects I truly need. Thank you. Jocelyn, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. And let me get back to the comment section. Luana says, I agree. Boundaries are a must. Without them, right. I agree. Without them, the relationship is doomed. For sure. I have never heard sirens so loud before. And I literally can't see any red outside my house. Okay. All right. It's hard. I'm a people pleaser. Well, Marie, that's why we talk about it. Because if you're a people pleaser, boundaries are going to be very difficult for you, And Joey says, I wouldn't be comfortable being vulnerable with someone on a dating level. I'm all for healthy friendships. So, hey, and you might not be ready to date now, and that's fine. All right. If your boundary is making sure. Claire, you're right. If your boundary is making sure you're able to say in his live stream, you do you. Yeah, but everything is good. Let's see. One of my neighbors, he came up to me the other day. He introduced himself. He's like, hey, boom, boom, boom. What do you do? Blah, blah. And I'm telling him, yeah, I make videos online and I do a couple of things. And then he was like, oh, I'm a doctor. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm a doctor too. I guess we could talk about that type of stuff. I didn't know, what he wanted to talk about. But he's a pretty quick guy. He'd let me know if anything was going on. Let me see. People are saying, should we come back later? Nah, we're good. We're good. We're gonna go back to boundaries. Boundaries were the hardest thing for me because I spent my life living for someone else, but I'm glad I started setting them. Right, Matthew, and congratulations to you. And unfortunately, it does take us years to learn this type of thing, but the moment we learn it, we can go ahead and position ourselves for success. And Jake, yeah, it's so weird they keep turning on and off like sirens normally. Like, yeah. Until you commented, I thought the sirens were on. I mean, hey, sometimes we never know, right? Josh says, I find that more often than not, people post the highlights of their relationship and none the negative. This sets an unrealistic standard for relationship everyone has. The grass always seems green on the other side, right? Social media makes it so hard. It can also give people temptations and thoughts they may not otherwise act on. Cheating, for example. Ooh. So, Josh, it's as if you knew what the other two reasons are. We're gonna get into that a little bit later, but you're right. It's much harder now, and people will say, "Oh, my grandparents were, married for like 50 years," but who knows what type of trauma they were going through in their marriage, right? Who knows? Like maybe your grandfather was under a lot of stress. Maybe he was working super hard, and it was ruining his mental health, and nobody knew. Maybe your grandma was in the house and she couldn't work. Back when women couldn't have jobs, and maybe that was killing her to be a stay-at-home mom, but she couldn't express herself, so she just accepted that life, right? So it's much more difficult nowadays. Marie says, after being with my husband for almost 15 years dating, we're married 5 years next month. Congratulations, Marie. One thing I can honestly say is that communication is 100% the most important thing. You can have all the boundaries in the world, but if you can't communicate them in a healthy, concise way, you're in trouble. You're correct. If you cannot communicate your boundaries in a healthy way, you are in trouble. Well, if you can't communicate in general, you're in trouble, right? So if you don't know how to communicate to your partner, even if you're in a relationship and it's going well, I would say you're in trouble, right? But if you've been with somebody for a while, you know how to communicate with them, right? All right, let me see what people are saying. All right. Reported. Okay, yeah. Let me see. I'm just gonna go ahead and block somebody. I don't get a lot of hate on the live stream, but people have the right to feel they want to feel the way they want to feel, right? But it's not going to stop the show. So we're just going to keep moving forward. Heather says, I just started talking to a guy on Bumble, and he's like, I'm falling for you. I'm weak. Hey, we'll talk about dating apps in a second. But the second reason why dating sucks today, right, is something that I've been seeing a lot in relationships. And someone wants to see the happy dance. All right, Eden, I'll do the dance for you real quick before we get to the second reason, right? So with the dance, center yourself. You go. Hey, then you go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. You can't see my feet right now, but the feet should be shuffling. The feet should be shuffling. All right, so apparently I can't spell, right? Love shouldn't be transactional. It appears to be. So I can't spell. But the second reason why I think dating is difficult nowadays is because there seems to be a transactional nature to the way relationships are today. And it really bothers me. This is really an issue. I see, people say, oh, guys are being used for free dates and for money and trips. That's true. These things happen. I've seen these things happen over and over and over. And if you're a guy and you're experiencing this, it's going to make you feel like you're not worth anything, right? Because people are using you for free dates, and they're using you to pay for things. And we're more than just, as guy, like me too, as a guy, we're more than 2 for $20 at Applebee's, right? we're more than just paying for things. We have value as well. But if you're a guy and you sign up for that because you're like, okay, I pay for things and I get sex from girl, then you're also complicit. You're part of the problem. So we have to understand that, hey, we're more than just what people want from us. The same way with women, the same if you flip the script, right? Let's say you're dating and you're a girl and you can't find anybody to really be in a relationship with you, but you can find situationships, right? And you might be encountering people who want to take the best parts of you, right? You know, they want to sleep with you, do whatever, but they want to give commitment to you. And if you want commitment, then you're going to be zoned in on that. And if you don't get that, then things won't work out for you, right? So very transactional. Oh, I just want you for sex, and I don't want to stay for your trauma and all that. But yeah, I just want to come and boom, 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 right? Now, if the only thing that I will say is if it's like a straight hookup thing, I'm not talking about that, right? If you have an agreement with somebody and y'all just hooking up, then that's different. That's not, maybe that's dating, but that's not what I'm talking about here. Because if you just want to hook up and they just want to hook up, then there's no problem, right? You communicate it to them and y'all are on the same page. It becomes an issue when one person wants this and the other person wants this, right? And until y'all can meet in the middle and compromise, you're going to feel like somebody is not getting what they need, right? So it's important to know that when it comes to dating, it should not be transactional, right? We can't or we should not go to people and take the best parts of them or take what you want from them and bounce out to the other person, right? And then do that over and over and over again because you're not respecting those people. And also, in a way, you're not respecting yourself, too. You know, going from person to person to person to person to person, different faces, same situation, right? You know, Critical Kraken, thank you so much. Yes, we're at 50K on YouTube. I really appreciate you. And Shelly says, just friends for now. Debbie says, I always end up taking care of broken men. I am working on my boundaries. Well, Debbie, so the first part of the statement is what you've been through, and the second part right here is what you're working on. So I'm looking at the second part. That's all I see. I see that you're working on your boundaries, and I say, hey, you know, you deserve a love of the show because you're working on something, and you'll get better at it over time, right? All right, and yeah. So Chelsea, let's talk about it, right? Trauma bonding. You know, so I was just talking about how relationships can be transactional. When you're with somebody, let's say you're dating somebody, you're gonna want to get something from them, right? And they'll get something from you. So maybe it's they're spending time with you, or maybe it's sex or money or food or attention, but you want something that they have, and vice versa, right? So if you're talking to somebody who has been through similar things that you've been through, right? You all could be developing a trauma bond, and I don't want to say that if you've met somebody and y'all been through similar situations, it doesn't mean that you can't be together, right? But you should really process it and work through the trauma, right? Because if you haven't worked through the trauma, then you're bringing your trauma here and you're just dumping it there. And they bring their trauma and they just dump it there. And you're like, all right, let's make this work, right? It's going to be very difficult when you try and make it work, right? So a lot of times in those relationships, you start off from an unhealthy place. But I've seen people flip the script and go get professional help and have long lasting relationships. So it doesn't mean that if you met somebody and you feel like y'all were connected because of a trauma bond that y'all are doomed. No, but at some point we would want to work through that trauma because if not, it's going to follow you like a shadow. And we don't want that. And Lisa says, I feel like when I offer to pay, guys get offended. Oh, well, what type of guys are you talking to? Depends. I don't know too many guys personally that would get offended if, the girl paid for the check. Like Karen. Karen says, I pay all my dinners. Respect. And how you know when you find the right one? All right, so Catherine, if I knew this answer, I'd be a multi-billionaire, but I'm working on it. I'm trying to figure out how you can, find the right one. Leilani, hey, how are you doing? Leilani is one of the moderators. Discuss male violence in what sense, Katrina? And thank you so much. I appreciate you. And Artavia says, dating absolutely sucks. The moment I get out of relationships, the guy that was perfect for me got into a relationship after being single for 3 years. So Artavia, I don't know if there's such a thing as the one or the guy who was perfect for you. The fact that that guy is in a relationship and you're not with that person, sometimes that might be how things are supposed to be, right? We never know. Let me see. And Brandon says overcorrecting in a new relationship is also difficult. Finding that balance between genuinely expressing yourself and just being too much can be a struggle. So wow, Brandon, love the show. That deserves to love the show because I didn't even think about that, right? Sometimes you do tend to overcorrect in a new relationship. So it's important to understand that, after one relationship doesn't work out, you do your best and you move on to the next, right? And fix the parts that, fix the things that you did wrong and take it to the next relationship. But we shouldn't overcorrect, right? We should not overcorrect. And sometimes overcorrecting can be you didn't do one thing right in your previous relationship, right? So you zoned in on that and you're like, oh, I have to do this well. And you forgot how to do the other parts, right? So this is actually really important. All right. And what's going on in LA tonight? Mickey Ficky. LA is a wild place. What do you do if your man comes home with glitter on his face after 7 years? So Maria, I'm not a fan of jumping to conclusions, right? I'm not a fan of jumping to conclusions. Maybe I don't know what he was doing, but I would ask him, have that, conversation like an adult and say, hey, I'm concerned because you came home with glitter on your face, and I'm not saying that you were with another woman, but I'm just asking, like, what happened? I feel like men have to be so cautious these days. They almost hear relationships. So you're making a really good point right here. Yeah, a lot of people are afraid and apprehensive to date, so they do fear relationships. And I know a lot of men that do. And I saw a report not too long ago saying that a fraction of men or more men are having less sex. Like this is like the most that men from 20 to 30. This is the most amount of men. How would you phrase it? Right now, there are a lot of men in their 20s and 30s that are not having sex, and we haven't seen this trend before, right? So I'm not sure what the numbers are because I don't have the actual article in front of me, but less men are having sex, right? Because more men are being apprehensive, right? And there may be more reasons to that, but that's what I'm seeing from my perspective. Would I date a widow? Potentially. Like I'm not me personally. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what God has for me. If that's what God said, then yeah, that's my personal answer to that question. And there's no easy way to get out of a toxic situation, Catherine. If you can get out, you should give yourself credit. But the best thing that you can do is to figure out what you need, right? And as you work on boundaries and you realize what you need and what you don't need, you'll be able to stand for yourself a little bit more. And then by standing up for yourself, that's not going to be congruent with being in that relationship. So you're going to have to, shift away from the relationship to respect yourself. So hopefully, you find a way to do this. Let me see. You were saying lack of lack of loyalty is another thing. And my ex was with another girl when he had glitter. Married. Oh, Mickey Ficky. Wow. Oh wow. Wow. My ex was with another girl when he had glitter. Married her after he dropped me. Sorry to hear that. I'm very sorry to hear that. I didn't know that glitter was a like a giveaway. Like I know that glitter could mean that you're with somebody else, but I wasn't. I didn't know that people were having this experience over and over. But I'm very very sorry to hear that, Mrs. Sherry. And Taylor says situationships and sneaky links are the trend, and it's not cool. Yeah, and so people have to understand the sneaky link thing. If that's what people want, there's nothing wrong, in my opinion. If you want to just hook up with somebody and they want the same exact thing, there's nothing wrong with that. All right, now I'm slightly curious about what's going on outside. I'm slightly curious. Give me 1 second, y'all. Let me see what's up. Let me see what's going on. Let me mute this so that y'all don't keep hearing the sirens, because I know it's kind of pissing me off. But I mean, I hope everybody's okay outside. 1 second, y'all. Thank y'all for hanging in there and sticking it through. Let me see what y'all say. All right, yeah. So it looks like possible fire. I'm not sure. Possible fire, but I live in the hilly area out here, so those things can happen. But I'm just gonna say a prayer. Hope everybody's okay, and we'll get back to the show. All right, so y'all were saying sneaky link. All right, okay, all right. That's what we're talking about. So, so people don't know what sneaky link is. All right, so in my experience, a sneaky link is when sneaky link is when you're sleeping with somebody that you shouldn't be sleeping with, right? And not that person is married or whatever, but it's just somebody that you shouldn't be with, right? So you have to sneak to link, sneaky link, right? Basically, the person, right? That's what it is, right? Y'all glitter on his face. So Marie, here's the thing: I always want to give people the benefit of the doubt, but I don't want you to be dumb, right? I don't want you to play dumb, like, oh, I don't know what's going on. Like, you have a suspicion, right? And if you follow me, nobody who follows me should be in a position where they're being disrespected, right? Because you're following me, and you're learning all these tips. So I'm not gonna leave y'all out to be disappointed, right? And to be embarrassed. So we do have to be smart, and we can't be like, glitter on his face. I wonder if he was a substitute teacher today playing with third graders, right? No, but give them a chance to explain themselves, and see what they say. Maybe they lie, maybe they tell the truth, right? Let's get back down here. All right. And I'm not ashamed of anyone else, but I can see why some may use this. and Jessica, you're not a dinosaur, but yeah, that's what the kids say nowadays. Sneaky link is the term. Josh says, I really hope everyone here manages to find some sort of peace with their baggage. We all have some. Life is hard enough as it is, and harder with people working against us. Never give up. I like what Josh is saying right here, and I think this deserves a love of the show. Life is difficult, right? And we all have things that, like I said, trauma will follow you like a shadow. So you might be walking and your trauma is following you, right? So as everybody's going through life, we're doing our best to heal. But keep in mind, we're picking up little bits of trauma along the way, and that impacts how we see life. It impacts our relationships with our family members and friends and romantic relationships. So it's important to understand that we're doing the best that we can. We have to give ourselves credit. Find the small win every single day. Oh, yeah. Kendra, there's no fire out here in my place. If there's a fire here, like I have to get off the live stream and make sure that my dog is good and that I'm good. And Daniel says, it's not the linking part that's unethical. It's the sneaky part. These days, you can find plenty of consensual non-monogamy if that's your thing. So, Daniel, you're right. You're right. You're right. But I've seen people be in sneaky link situations where they're going back and they're sleeping with their ex, right? But they've told their friends that they hate their ex. So like it's not all. It depends. There's reasons as to why people may want to sneaky link or or whatever, right? See, there's a difference between keeping things private. Right. I agree. And let me get to the third one. And I think somebody already touched on this. The third reason why I think dating may suck today, but let me see. There's true down here in Houston. They have swingers bars. Okay. Did not know that. But I'm sure they have that everywhere, but I'm not too familiar with that. All right, so here's another one. Sneaky links could be coworkers who aren't supposed to date within their team, not necessarily unethical. I agree. I agree. Like a lot of people meet people at work, right? If you met your spouse, well, actually, let's play a game right here, right? If you've dated anybody that you've worked with, let me know in the comment section because I'm just a little curious, right? If you've dated anybody that you've worked with, let me know because I'm curious. I'm trying to see something, right? But the third reason why dating sucks today is we're overwhelmed with options, right? And as somebody with ADHD myself, right? The simplest way for me to get something done is to simplify things all the way down. I don't want to have 5 different options of where I want to eat today. Because if I'm thinking between Chick-fil-A, McDonald's, Tender Greens, Applebee's, and Ruby Tuesdays, I will never get something to eat, right? But if I'm like, all right, today I'm going to choose between Tender Greens and Applebee's, I said, okay, I'll go with Tender Greens because I like the food. It's kind of healthy, right? So sometimes with more options, you become overwhelmed and you can't pick a single thing. So similar with dating, right? I like her, I like her, I like her, I like her, or you like all these different people and you can't zone in on one person and really figure out who they are. What's the beauty of that person? What makes that person tick? What makes that person be inspired? So I think it's important to understand that with too many options, it can make things much more difficult for you, right? And now we have Hinge, and then no, Tumblr's not a dating app. What's the Tinder? That's a Tumblr. That's a Tumblr. We got Hinge. We got Bumble, Tinder. You have all these. I think even Facebook has like a dating thing. Facebook has Facebook dating, right? So everybody's trying to get into the dating game, right? And it's very difficult to find one person when you might get upset with somebody and like, all right, I'm just gonna block you and ghost you and jump back on the app and swipe again and find somebody, right? We shouldn't be able to dispose of people that fast. And you can stop talking to somebody if you don't want to talk to them, but this whole idea of, oh, I don't like them anymore, and I just keep it moving. I don't know what to make of that. It doesn't feel good, right? I don't know how to characterize it, but it doesn't feel good to know that you can literally just reduce a human being's value down to a single swipe, a left or a right, or up or down. So I mean, like, these are real people. Like, when you're scrolling on the apps, these are real people. You may not like them. They may not be your type. Maybe you don't like their hair or how they look, but that's a real person. You just swiped away. It doesn't sit right with me. It's never really felt good, right? All right, and Claire says I'm underwhelmed with options. Okay, maybe my standards are too high. Just kidding. Lots of men don't like a career or oriented independent woman. I disagree, but maybe you're just in Houston and you should be in Austin or something, or maybe you should move to Dallas, or San Francisco. I guess. All right, now back to the question I asked earlier. Amanda says, I've dated someone I worked with. I married someone I worked with, although I think many military people have. Yeah. And then there's nothing wrong with that. Sherry says, I dated a coworker for 2 years. Kelsey says, yes, but I would not recommend. I'm with Kelsey on this one. I don't know what you all stories are, but I've dated a coworker before, and it made work very difficult. I think I told this story years ago, but she did all my work for me at the job for a while. But I wouldn't, unless like you're gonna be with that person like long term. I wouldn't recommend dating a coworker. I refuse to date a coworker. Gets weird. Yeah. I'm kind of with you on that one. I never dated a coworker. I dated a professor. Oh wow. I bet class was fun. Oh wow. I met my now husband at work. We had to keep a secret for a year. You see, you all ended up like marrying. So like I think like when you end up with the person that you work with, it's a beautiful love story. You made it work. Like, congratulations. I'm curious. You're right. I'm more curious about people dating their coworkers and the actual live stream too. You know. Let me see. Oh yeah, we'll do a wire break in just a second. And Kendra, I need to put the merch link in the Discord, and I will do that. Taylor, thank you so much. I appreciate you. And if you have to get back to work, thank you for the time that you were able to spend on the live stream. All right, and let me get to some more of these comments. All right, Lawana says, I usually have to narrow down to 2, then I choose who I like the best. I prefer one man. Respect, Lawana, respect. Cal says, I'll run myself down a rabbit hole. It's too much for me to process all at once. Yeah, too many options. I didn't meet my spouse at work, but we have worked together multiple times, and we don't mix work and home. It's funny when people don't know we're married and work together because they know we're married, just not to each other, and think we're both running around. Oh wow, Laura, that's cool. That's actually cool. That's cool because it's like your little secret, you know. And I like the fact that y'all are able to work together, and you made it work. Sometimes it doesn't work for people, and it worked out for y'all. Ali said, "Met my husband on Tinder." Okay, and I see your profile picture. Okay, congratulations. Too many options sometimes means no decision. Yeah. I didn't date someone, but was friends with benefits with a coworker for a little while. We have a friendship, and we don't work together anymore currently. But there was a time we would just get together to let off some steam, and there's nothing wrong with that as long as everybody knows what's up and nobody's feeling disrespected. No expectations of each other. We had mutual respect for each other and boundaries when we did work together. We never brought anything up or acted like anything was going on. So here, Ashley, it looks like you're not oh, what's going on? Hmm. A weird night out here. Weird night out here with the sirens and stuff. But it's the weirdest last year that we've had so far. But I don't see a single. I can't even see the sirens. That's a weird thing. But yeah, if you didn't feel like you were disrespected and the other person felt like they were respected, there's nothing wrong there. But a lot of times it doesn't happen like this. Normally somebody might get upset or I tell you drink water. uh, okay, all right. Oh no, all right. It's time for the water break then. Let me slide on over and get the water. Y'all know the magic word? Oh, actually, that's not the magic word though. That's not the magic word. That's not the magic word though. That was a water break siren. And I appreciate y'all for reminding me. Dating at work gets sticky because they watch your every move. If you're being friendly, right. That's why. I mean, I don't know if there's a guide to dating at work, but I would say if y'all are in the same unit, if you really like the person, somebody should move to a different unit, and then y'all can take the relationship more seriously. All right, and the silence have been a distraction, and then someone says it keeps alive. Interesting. Oh boy. All right, cheers, y'all. This is a water break. This is when we get a chance to drink some water. A lot of times we forget to drink water throughout the day. And even me, like I was supposed to drink this whole thing. I started drinking it in the morning and I forgot, right? So thankfully we have the water break, which reminds me to drink some water so I can give me some water in my system. Cheers, y'all. Cheers. Cheers. Yeah, the sirens, I don't want to say it's been a distraction because my first thought was I hope everybody's okay and nothing is up. So I'll just leave it at that. I hope everybody's okay and I'll leave it at that. Dating is super hard. Afraid I'm settling and may find a better option fit online. All right, okay, all right. So wait. Let me talk about this for a second. We'll be on the line for about 5 more minutes, but let me talk about this. So you're afraid that you're settling and you may find a better option down the line. I'm not gonna call you out. And you're from Ghana, I can tell by the name. So just because you're from Ghana, I already like you. But hear me out on this one, please. When you date with the mindset of I met this guy and he's cool, but I might be settling, and I'm not sure if I should commit because I might find a better guy down the line. That's a very what's the word I'm looking for? Concerning way to date, right? Because if you have that mindset, you're gonna look at the person in front of you and say, "Okay, I like them," and then you make up reasons why you don't like that person, right? It should be a binary thing. Either this is your person or they're not. Like if these are your standards and you know your boundaries, like going back to the live stream, the beginning of the live stream, if you don't like a certain thing and that person does it, that's not your person. That's not your person, right? And there's no such thing as a better option. There's better for you, right? But to go through dating and to be afraid to commit because you think you could find something better, it could set you up for failure, right? Because you might meet somebody who has like almost all of the things you want, right? Except for a couple of small things they're not deal breakers, but you're like, oh, I wish he was 6'2" and he's 6'1", or something like that, right? But I don't want us to get into the habit of throwing people away because they don't fit exactly what we want, right? So when it comes to settling, I don't like that term settling. Like, you know, like who came up with that term? Oh, you gotta settle for somebody. No, because like one person's settle might be another person's like dream person, right? And when you say settling, it reduces us to like, oh, one person's better than the other person. It puts us on all these different levels, right? I've never liked that term settling, but I know what you mean. But I want to just like say that out so we can just be on the same page there. And Claire says, if you think there might be something better down the line, that's your decision right there. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So Claire, Claire, I've never seen you in the live stream before, but like you are Claire is on the money. Claire, where are you from? I've never seen you in the live stream, but you're on the money. If you think that there's something better down the line, that's your decision. You should be with that person. That's easy. Like we solved it right here and now. If you're with somebody right now, this goes for the 116 people watching and the people who watch in the back end. If you're with somebody right now and you're asking yourself, I think there might be something better for me down the line, you shouldn't be with that person. That's your answer right there. Because think back to if you've ever been in a situation where you've been in love with somebody and you really like that person and that was your person. When you like that person, you didn't see anybody else, right? Like when I think back to when I was in love, a couple of times that I've been in love in my life, I'd say whenever I was in love, like that girl was like she was like everything. Like if I ran into like Beyonce on the street, I would still pick my girl over Beyonce because like that was the person I liked. That was my person 100,000%. Right. So if you don't feel that way about somebody and you're not fully convinced, it's not fair to you and it's not fair to the other person for you to stick around. Like this is a lose-lose, right? It's a lose-lose and nobody's winning. Will there ever be anyone that would fit what you're looking for? Yeah, there's billions of people on the planet, right? Sometimes the issue is that we live in one city and maybe the person that you would be with is in a different city, right? Or a different zone or a different state, yeah, you're right. Like if you got your person, you're not gonna look anymore, right? Same thing in sports. If you have two quarterbacks, you don't really have one. If you have one quarterback, he'd be playing every game. And Ado says, my problem is I'm the fixer. I've never been good at dating. Africans, we don't date. You're right. It's funny because my mom would say, growing up, my mom would be like, oh, girls are evil. Go to school, get an education, and after that, we can worry about dating. And then you get to your adult years, and then you go to school, you become a doctor, and then your parents are like, oh, we want grandkids. I'm like, oh, you told me to focus on school. I focus on school, and I'm successful. Now I have to learn how to date, and I have to learn how to communicate, and I have to learn how to compromise, right? Somebody. Margaret, I appreciate you. Thank you very much. Oh yeah, and these are the 3 reasons, by the way. And Claire says she's in New Hampshire. Claire, I appreciate you. You stayed up. You're in New Hampshire, so you're on the East Coast. It's 10 o'clock where you are, but you're dropping dimes tonight. You're on the money. Yeah. And Diane, no, this is not off topic. This is not off topic because this goes back to my first point, right? If you have abandonment issues in your childhood, and maybe we could do a live stream on this comprehensively and talk about it more, but if you have abandonment issues in your childhood, right, and your parents left you, right, your parents are your heroes, but you're thinking to yourself, oh, my mom left, my dad left, what's the point in getting into a relationship, they could leave, right? It's going to impact how you approach any type of relationship. And we talk about this with we've spoken about this a lot with borderline personality disorder, right? And you don't have to have BPD to have abandonment issues, right? But we see that a lot, right? And the things that happen to you as a kid are so important because if you haven't processed the trauma, you become an adult, right? You'll be 35, but you'll mentally be 15 when you're approached with a situation that reminds you of the trauma. So that's why it's so important to move past the trauma, and you move past it by working with a professional or maybe talking to friends and loved ones. But you have to work through it. You can't really like go around it. You really should go through it. So that's not off topic. That's not off topic at all. Not when you have ADHD, nothing is off topic. And oh my goodness, my dad left and I struggle with abandonment and rejection. Right. And look, so for this type of person, if you go into a relationship and you're not able to connect the dots, then when you want to enforce a boundary, right? And somebody is like calling you a certain name, you're like, "Well, don't call me this name. I don't like when you call me that name." That person can do whatever they want because you're not going to leave. You cannot set a boundary because if you set the boundary, because when we set boundaries, people may leave, and people may come, but the people that come are the people that we need, and the people that leave are the people that we don't need. Anybody that leaves when you set a boundary is somebody that you never needed in the first place, right? You don't need them now, and you never needed them. But if you struggle with abandonment and rejection, and you're afraid, like if you're deathly afraid of rejection and abandonment, you'll do whatever it takes to keep that person around, even if it means disrespecting yourself, right? So this is all on topic, all important. Ashley says, when you're in love, at least me anyway, I don't see anyone like I see that person. I actually explained this to my ex-husband who had affairs in our marriage. Sorry to hear that, Ashley, but told him I couldn't understand him saying he loved me and he'd go and do that to me. Because I didn't see anyone like I saw him, I would turn down flirtation from others and just wouldn't make myself seemingly available like he did. Also, Ashley, first of all, very sorry to hear about what happened in your previous marriage. But I want to make a point here. And this is a very complicated thing to explain. And I know that with my platform is, at least here on Facebook, it's 80%. Actually, everywhere is 80% female to 20% male ratio. But hear me out on this. I might lose some of y'all, but this is important to say. Men and women are different. We know that, right? And when you're in love, at least for me, like I only see that person. But with that being said, I do think it's possible for somebody to love you and to still cheat on you. I'm not saying that is right, but somebody can still love you and they can still cheat on you, and they may not seek out these opportunities, right? But let's say you have somebody who caught themselves in a situation where they shouldn't have been in that situation. Maybe they connected with an old ex, or maybe something happened really fast and they made an honest mistake. I'm not saying take them back. I'm not saying forgive them, but I believe this is not in the DSM-5. I didn't learn this in school from the top psychiatrist. This is just me personally. I believe that somebody can love you and still cheat on you. At the same time, you can still be like, all right, I'm gonna get the hell out of here. So at the end of the day, we all have decisions that we have to make. But I do believe somebody can love you and cheat on you. It's quite complicated, but either you get it or you don't. Let me see. I probably hey Kendra, it's coming. There's a lot of guys. I'm beginning a lot of DMs from guys saying, "Hey, thank you so much for talking about this topic. I thought I was alone." So yeah, the guys are coming around. The guys are coming around. Michael said, it's all chicks but you and that. Mike, there's a couple of guys in here. There's a couple of guys in here, I noticed that when I first started going live, like on TikTok years ago, but there are a couple of guys in there. And Caitlin says, I sent you a message. I haven't checked messages in a long time. There's a lot of them. At 29, I was finally diagnosed and began treatment for ADHD. I always knew something was going on, but didn't know what. Your videos helped so much. Thank you. Let's give Caitlin a love of the show. I know how hard it can be for women to even be seen for an ADHD assessment. So I'm happy that some way, somehow, the algorithm, a higher power, somehow the videos were, placed on your FYP and your timeline, and you're able to get treatment. So I'm very happy to see that. If boundaries run them off, they didn't respect you. I agree with that as well. I completely agree with that. Kendra says, to be honest, my boyfriend and I aren't even friends on Facebook. We don't even care to look at each other's pages because we trust each other and know neither one of us is doing anything. We've been together for over 6 years. And Kendra, I personally, so thank you for this, because I personally, like, if I'm dating somebody, I don't have to like your pictures. I don't have to be your friend, because like we're here in real life. But some people have it differently. Some people want to be posted on social media, and and there's no right or wrong way, as long as the two people within the relationship, or if there's more than two people in the relationship, as long as everybody's on the same page, right? Let me see. I had childhood trauma, abuse, but now I'm happy. Hey, Becky, congratulations! And if you're happy now, there's a good chance that you have to work through the trauma, right? You have to have the uncomfortable discussions with either a therapist or a family member or a trusted friend, and you did it. So you should give yourself some credit, so love the show for you. All right. And Spencer. I wasn't gonna mention this at all, Spencer. I wasn't gonna mention this at all, but please, tell a friend to follow me. Please. Like, I saw it this morning and I was like, oh, it didn't feel right. I was a little scared. I need more followers. At least give me 1,000 followers so I can get to 667. But I saw it, but oh boy. Mike, I got the World Series. I have like 2 TVs in the living room. I got the World Series on the bottom TV, and I got the Texans playing the Eagles on the top TV screen. So I keep it on for background noise. I always got the sports on. Let me see. Coda is 10% reason why I'm going to social work along with Hey, Josh, I appreciate that, and we need more guys. We need more guys in the field, because it's good to have a male perspective. I'm not saying that my perspective is right, and I don't want to get into the whole men versus women. Like, I hate that discussion online. Like, oh, guys are no, like, we need each other, but we do need more male perspective so people can see how things are from our perspective. Because sometimes, maybe you all won't listen to certain guys, right? But if I come and say it, I'm like, hey, yes, I'm Dr. Koja, but like I said earlier, I think somebody can be in love with you and still cheat on you, and it doesn't make sense, right? But that's my opinion. I don't condone it, and I still feel like if you want to leave, please leave. Don't stay in a relationship where you don't feel like you're respected. But at least from my observation, I felt like that's how I feel, and maybe that's a guy perspective. I don't know what it is, right? But it's my perspective, and I'm grateful that we have a safe space where we can express our opinions, and it's an opinion. It's not a fact, right? I don't have evidence to back that up. So I can't say that that's evidence-based information. It's just an opinion. How's that love? Cassandra, so here's the thing about love. Like, love is, and keep in mind, I'm still trying to figure out what love is. But love doesn't go away because of a certain action, right? If let me use you for example, Cassandra. If I say I love you, right, and you take this water, you pour it on me, and I'm not saying that pouring water on somebody is as no, I'm not saying that cheating is as benign as pouring water on somebody, right? But if you pour this water on me, I'll be pissed off. I'm like, why the hell did you pour the water on me? I'll still love you though, right? If you slash a tire in my car, I'm pissed off. I'll still love you. You cheat on me, I still love you, but I gotta go. For me, like, I'd leave. I still love the person. I still love you, but I gotta go. Is a decision, not an emotion. Yeah, we could be both though. If you weren't respected in childhood, you won't necessarily expect or demand respect in as adult. Yeah, I agree, and that's why the boundary. That's why I started off with boundaries. I didn't. The three reasons why dating sucks today. I didn't start off with dating sucks because guys are saying bad things about girls, or girls are wearing this type of dress. No, 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 no. The first reason why is we don't understand our boundaries. I look at it from a mental perspective. If we know our boundaries, we will know what we want to accept and what we don't want to accept. But if because of maybe how you were raised as a child, and a lot of bad things happen to kids, and it's very very sad because those are your formative years. That should be the happiest time of your life, right? But based on what happened to you as a child, or maybe what didn't happen, maybe you were neglected. As you become older, it can be really difficult to set those boundaries, and you can struggle in your relationships. And you can struggle for years. You might be 30, 40, 50 before you finally figure this out, right? So that was the very first thing that I wanted to talk about. Boundaries. It's so important, and you have to actively work on your boundaries every single day, so I wanted to say that. And you and Connor do. Oh, Connor's my guy. Connor's my guy. Oh, Connor is my guy. Oh, Connor. Yeah, and I love his videos, and that's the beauty of social. Not to get off topic, sorry, but that's the beauty of social media. We can make these videos, and for those of us who have ADHD, we know what it's like to be talking about one thing and to be all over the place, to overshare, to have teachers say that you can't sit still in class, or if only they would focus, they would reach your potential. So it's so dope to have this space where we can just kind of like put out our experience and have it validated by other people. I'm a big fan of Connor the Wolf. If y'all don't know who he is and you like ADHD content, please follow that guy. I think he posts on Facebook as well, but it's primarily TikTok. But like that guy is amazing. Who would she? Trish. I don't know. I don't think anybody's cheated on me. If they have, she ain't tell me. I don't want to know. I don't want to know. I've been trying to teach my 14-year-old daughter that she needs to never make her happiness depend on being in a relationship. Sarah, if you can teach her this, right, or as you teach her this, keep in mind that this is going to really help her out as she becomes a woman. Because when you're 14, you're watching TV, right? You're seeing what, the media is saying. You're seeing what people are saying that you have to do in order to get people's attention. And don't worry about none of that. If she can just focus on being happy without being in a relationship, then once she gets into that relationship, she'll be so much more happy because she's good within. And so Leilani knows Connor. Yeah, Connor is a G. Yeah, I'm a big fan of him. I wish you would answer which question, Cassandra. My family as a child was awful. I'm sorry to hear that, Fallon. I'm 36 and I'm figuring it out, and that boundaries exist. Right. And look, Fallon, boundaries are so important. And when you stand for yourself, you feel so good. Like when you stand for yourself, like, man, like I just hope anybody who watches my content, like, you should not be following me here on Facebook or on any platform and be allowing yourselves to be disrespected. Like all of y'all, like I want all y'all to respect yourselves and to make people respect you. You can't, hold a Sharpie or a highlighter to their head and be like, hey, respect me. It doesn't work that way. But you teach people how to respect you by how you treat yourself, right? So if you don't feel good about a certain thing, right? So Fallon, right? Let's say the way you grew up, you couldn't express yourself, right? Now you're 36. When you don't feel good about a certain thing, ask yourself, I don't like that. I don't know why I feel that way, but I don't like that feeling. And that feeling came from this. So this thing should never happen again. And then you approach that person and say, hey, I'm sorry, but like this cannot happen again because of X, Y, and Z. And if they're like, oh, whatever, watch that. That should be somebody that we're going to kind of like push away. And keep in mind, when you got to be careful when you put boundaries in place. You have to be very careful because you probably, no. You will lose people. You will lose opportunities. You will lose, boundaries it comes at a price. You're going to lose things, but you're going to gain your respect. You're going to gain your self-worth. And I'm willing to pay that price because as you go through life, like forget relationships for a second, you're going to want to know how to have those boundaries for every single situation. And it may not feel good in the beginning as people leave you, but over time it'll feel much better. Trust me. There's been certain companies that I can think of one company right now. I was supposed to work with them on a brand deal, and they're going to pay me a couple grand. It was a nice check, but they came with what they wanted, and then my team sent back the rates and everything, and they wanted a lot of stuff. So we sent back the rates, and then they're like, "Oh, your rates are too high for us, and we're gonna find somebody else." I'm like, "All right, cool." I could have said, "Oh, let me lower it because I really, 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 really want to work with you." But I'm like, no, it wasn't about the money. It was about the respect. It doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good to take that offer because I feel like I'm cheapening myself. And if you do this over and over and over again, you'll feel like you're not worth anything because you're still like you're taking something that you feel like you deserve more, right? And we all know what we deserve, but sometimes depending on if you're maybe desperate or you're afraid to lose things, you'll take something that you should never have taken in the first place. So I was like, you know what? It's fine. It's fine. So I've been practicing that throughout my life in all scenarios, right? So in business, I had to learn that. I said, hey, I'm not going to take that deal because it doesn't make me feel good. And personal relationships, it doesn't feel good. Like I've literally been actually, I'll give you all a real life situation before I get off. I'll give you all a real life situation. And shout out to Destiny Cooper. I caught you still alive. Yeah, I'm still here. We had some issues with some sirens and some stuff going off earlier, but we're still out here. All right. And when I started standing up for myself and setting boundaries, I lost relationships. And at first it hurt, but now I'm glad I did. So Facebook user, it sucks that I can't see your name, but thank you for sharing this. You will lose relationships and you will lose people, but you will feel so much better about yourself. And that's the important thing. You will feel better about yourself. And I remember the example I was going to give y'all here. Yeah, real life example. So I was talking to this girl, I'm not sure when. It was when I first came to LA. And I'll never forget. And I like the girl a lot. I wanted to date her. I'm like, oh, you could be my next girlfriend. I'm like, hey, like I think I'm a decent guy, and if you date me, you get to go to the Oscars next year. You get to roll around with me. So I'm like, I spent some time pursuing, and went on a couple of dates, all that stuff. So I'll never forget. One day, keep in mind, here's the backstory to this story. The backstory is I've already told this girl that, hey, I have ADHD. In the mornings, it takes me a while to wake up. Until I go to the gym, I can't really be social. So it takes me a while to wake up, and I'm not a morning person. Keep in mind, I've told her this a couple of times, right? So I'll never forget one morning we woke up and I was asleep. Like I'm a deep sleeper. So I'll be in the bed like I don't want to get out of bed. I don't want to get out of bed, right? So I remember she was trying to wake me up, and it's taken 30 minutes, an hour. And I don't remember what she said, but all she's like, get up, spend time with me, get up and spend time with me. And by the time I woke up, she was ready to leave. So I'm just waking up like, yeah, you good? You good? You're fine. And she got upset. So she grabbed her keys. She stormed out. And she texted me and said, hey, I wanted to spend time with you this morning, and you didn't want to spend time, so I'm out. I said, all right, cool. So I said, all right. I felt disrespected in the situation. Maybe she was right. Maybe whoever was right or wrong, it doesn't matter. But I felt disrespected in the moment. I'm like, I've told you that I struggle to wake up in the morning. I'm not a good waker upper or whatever you call it, right? I told you that. So you should, if you've been hanging out with me for the past 3-4 months, you should know this. So I told her this, and she stormed out. So I felt disrespected. So I'm like, all right, I'm not gonna reach out. So I literally was gonna never call her again in life. This is not a ghost. I was just never gonna reach out to her again. So she calls me 2 weeks later, and she's like, "Oh, you haven't reached out to me." I'm like, "Oh yeah, the way the situation happened, like I felt disrespected, and boom, boom, boom." And she's like, "Oh, but it doesn't make sense." I'm like, "Hey, I told you that I'm not a morning person, and I told you I have ADHD and I need some time to get started, and you kept pestering me and saying, 'Wake up, wake up, wake up, spend time with me.'" I'm like, "Hey, and I remember the phrase that I said. I said, I would rather not disrespect myself just to keep you around, even if it means you leave forever. Like that's fine. Like you have to have that abundance mindset, right? I want to respect myself more than trying to please you or to have you to come over. Like I can find another person, and even if I don't find another person, I still have to be respected in that moment because I've stayed my boundaries, and I say, hey, I need some time to wake up in the morning. But and she's not a bad person. It doesn't make her a bad person because I still think very highly of her. But for me, it wasn't going to work out because if I say something and I have to explain it over and over and over again, then I'm betraying myself just to keep you around. So I think highly of her. She's amazing. She's great, but it won't work for me because I know how I am. And if I can't get my mornings in peace, and I have to tell you over and over, it just won't work, right? So I lost that potential relationship. I lost a good chunk of money with the previous business deal. So you have to pay the price for setting boundaries, right? And sometimes it comes at a cost of friends that we've been friends with for a long time, right? Now, losing money, whatever. Losing the girl you talked to for 4 months, whatever. But if I had a friend of mine who I was friends with for years, and that person was like, "Oh, because of how you live your life now, we can't be friends," that would really hurt me. That would be very painful. No, sometimes losing a friend is worse than a breakup. I'm like, that was my friend. It can be very painful. But if your friend doesn't want to respect your boundaries, not that they have to go, but you have to spend less time with them because keep in mind, your mental health is up for grabs. Your peace of mind is up for grabs. So we have to let people know, hey, I've got to be respected. And if they won't respect you and you keep sticking around to try and tell them, hey, I need this, I need this, I need this, or I'm going to leave. You do it one more time, I'm going to leave. They don't believe you because you won't leave because you haven't perfected or made progress when it comes to setting boundaries, right? So boundaries are so important. That's why I started off this thing with boundaries. Because if you knew your boundaries and how to implement them, you would never, ever, ever, ever be in a toxic relationship. It's impossible to know your boundaries and set them and be in a toxic situation. That has never happened in the history of histories, right? So it's very important to understand that. And Joey says, it makes you wonder if it's more beneficial to not say anything. Sometimes bring attention to something can help the. Okay, in what context? So Facebook user, I agree, but it's not my peace over their feelings because it's not me versus you, right? The people that may leave us because we set boundaries, they're not bad people. Like they're not bad people. They're just not able to give you what you need. So my peace over their feelings, I would revise that and say my peace over my feelings. Because a lot of times we feel bad to lose people. Sometimes like it's our feelings that we want to protect. My peace over my feelings. Because your heart is saying, well, this is one of my most fun friends. We hang out every weekend. And if I tell them that I don't want to drink alcohol anymore, they're gonna not be my friend, right? So you keep drinking even though you stop drinking or you're sober now, but you want to hang out with your friend, right? But it's your peace over your feelings, right? And like Kelsey said, yeah, they're just not our people, and it doesn't mean that they're bad people, but they're just not for us, right? Because the people that you choose to spend your time with, keep in mind, our time is finite. We don't have 30 hours in a day. We got 24, but sometimes for me, having ADHD, I feel like I have maybe 7 hours in a day because only a few are productive, right? So we should be spending our time with people that we actually want to be with. Oh boy, yeah. Sometimes not every single hour in a day is productive for us. Yeah. Let me go through the comments. Yeah. But like, it's easier now. But back then I was like, like I was upset too. Like when I lost the money, I was upset. The potential relationship, I was upset because you think about what could have been, but I was practicing boundaries, right? And that practice will pay off later. Uh, so Claire from New Hampshire is on the money once again. In order to have something you never had before, you have to do something you've never done, right? If you feel like you've never been respected, at work, at school, in relationships, and you put those boundaries in place, you will lose people, but you will finally get that respect that you finally deserve, right? And not that you finally deserve it, you deserve the respect in the beginning, right? But you're getting it now because you're putting the boundaries in place. Being honest about your mental health is so necessary when you start thinking about getting serious. Yeah, yeah. And this is something that we have to have a whole separate live for, like maybe a live stream on things you should tell your partner about your mental health, but we have to have that discussion, because without having that discussion, sometimes you may have a person who wants to be with you and they're committed to learning about you, but maybe you're afraid to tell them that you have ADHD, or you're afraid to tell them that you came from a psych hospital 2 months ago because you think that they're going to leave you, right? So there's a way to have that conversation, but it needs to be had, especially if you're thinking about getting serious, right? If you're just in the beginning stages or you're not sure where it's going, it's all good. Take your time, but especially if you're trying to get serious, you really, really, really need to have that conversation, you know. Throughout your life, I made. Oh, so throughout the live, you made supper. Has anybody else been productive during the live? Like whether you've made supper, or whether you folded the clothes, or maybe took out the trash. I don't know who would have a trash down on Friday, but maybe you got the trash out on Friday. When I took time for me, took a dating break instead of standing up. Oh wow. This is cool. And I've heard a lot of these stories before. I took a break. I figured out what my boundaries were, and something good happened, right? But in the beginning, Trish, and I know some lonely nights, right? Some uncomfortable feelings, and you lost people, you lost situations, but you found your husband. So everything comes at a price. You gotta pay a price, right? Dating says because people bullshit and lie to get what they want. People do that. People do that. If nothing changes, nothing changes. One of the most simple quotes of all time, but it's still so true. Let me see. Drink water. So drank water. Debbie ate candy corn during the live stream. Kelsey just enjoying the interaction. Nothing's wrong with that. Clean the dishes. Well, some respect. The meds are gone. Oh boy. Hopefully you can re-up soon. Put the baby to sleep. Cook chicken tacos for wow. Whoa. Put the baby to sleep. Cook chicken tacos. Fold the laundry and fed. Yo, that's crazy. No, that deserves a love of the show. Wow. Like in the whole day, that could be what I did in the whole day. Besides the baby part, because I don't have babies. But yeah, that's impressive. Clean my kids' toys before the cleaners came. Oh, I like that. Amanda did self-care during the stream. Mel made perfect cupcakes. Ooh, I'm hungry now. I wish we could like airdrop cupcakes. I would take. I don't eat sweets that often, but I take some right now. I put my son to bed early because 11 p.m. was too late last week. That's good. Was I going live late last week? I may have. Lauren, and look. If Lauren was productive and you weren't, nothing wrong with that. If your rest is productive too, keep in mind it's the end of the day. I feel attacked. Now I want to talk. Lauren should make some tacos for all of us. Like I wish that we could go into the metaverse and put on the Oculus, and Lauren could like give us tacos, like I literally could be this productive in a day. Yeah. Nah, she's a superhuman. Yeah, I agree with what Claire's saying. Lauren should do something for herself. And all right, so Josh, the Discord link. Um, let me say this real quick. So we have the Discord link changes every so often, but there's a link that does not change. Let me grab that for y'all. This link does not change. Does anybody have it? Set up code. Oh, you sent me all the crispy fries? Yeah, let me get. I like Chick-fil-A style fries or McDonald's fries. The Discord is invalid. All right, okay. Let me fix that right now. Lauren says, I would love to cook all y'all some tacos or comfort food. Cooking is my therapy. What? This sounds like it's too good to be true. Well, I need to talk to Facebook, and if there's a way to cook and send food in the metaverse, if there's a way to do that, like I would do it. I would definitely do it. Because I think I even forgot to eat dinner. Yeah, I did. I haven't eaten dinner yet because I'm not hungry, but I gotta, I gotta eat something. Where's this Discord link? Discord server. Okay, all right, perfect. So I got the link right here. Copy the link. I'm gonna go to the Discord right now. Actually, no. Let me go on Facebook right now and go on my own live stream. Cut the volume down so I don't have to hear my voice. And all right, let me comment right now. Let me see. And let me see what Lauren says. I'm not productive because I want to be unproductive. Because I have to be in saving for myself. Respect, Lauren. Respect. All right, so I dropped the new Discord link in there, and this one should be good. It won't expire after 7 days or so. This one should be like legit good. All right. There we go. And this is the Discord link. And yeah, we are doing extra long live today. Yeah. I didn't mean for it to go for so long, but I'm kind of caught up, which is weird. You know, I hate saying that because I feel like I'm gonna jinx myself. All right. But here's the Discord link. I'll let you all get this link or a screenshot or Kendra, yes, this is a permanent one to my knowledge. That's what my assistant told me. It's a permanent one to my knowledge. Let me see the Discord. All right. Yeah. When I tried it worked for me. So perfect. Awesome. It was a siren. It was a siren tonight. It definitely was. Got a copy. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Super productive. Oh yeah, we'll talk about Mania as well. And thank you so much for the. I'm not sure what this is. I didn't know that YouTube you have like a donation thing or a stars thing, but I appreciate that. Might be beneficial for what? Narwhal, can you beneficial for what? Well, I already clicked the question, so I might as well answer it. Aceto carotene beneficial for what? For ADHD. All right, so let me say this real quick about ADHD. So if you ask me what the most beneficial thing for ADHD is getting sleep and exercising. You know, I think sometimes people turn to supplements that they think can be helpful. Of course, medications, you know, stimulants, first line treatment for ADHD, that's obviously very helpful. But sometimes it's the basics, you know, if you can cut out sugar from your diet or reduce it, that goes a long way. Processed foods, if you can cut that out, is very helpful. If you can surround yourself with people who appreciate you and speak highly of you, that will help your ADHD. Sometimes we're so overstimulated. If we can just declutter our minds and sometimes physically declutter the things that are around us, that could be helpful. So that's what I would say in terms of ADHD management. So, all right. Oh, I have not talked about this enough. So, yeah, it is similar to trichotillomania. So we have to talk about, yeah. Oh, we should have a live stream about that. And then that will allow us to talk about the difference between compulsive behavior and impulsive behavior, right? Yeah, because sometimes people don't realize that, when you have a compulsive desire to do a certain thing, like you just cannot do anything but that thing to relieve the anxiety, right? So we have to talk about that. And yeah, no, yeah, and sometimes like I like the reason why I like the 30-minute live streams is because that way I can do one topic and then change the borders, and then we can talk about something else and talk about something else. So I like those, but sometimes the live stream just goes on for a long time, and it's okay, and sometimes unless there's an email or something like that that's stopping me or making me have to jump off, and plus I lose track of time naturally anyway. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. So I will get off the live stream now, but today's Thursday. Okay. All right. Thursday. Cool. So the next live stream should be Monday. Breakfast with Dr. Kojo. I haven't been on for the past 2 weeks, so I will be live Monday morning for sure. And after that, we're gonna do the Mental Health Mondays on ABC7. So I'll be on live stream, and then we'll go straight to the segment on TV. I'll put the link on here, so if y'all want to watch, if y'all live in Southern California, you can just turn on the TV to catch the second segment. But if not, I'll put the link there for y'all, and y'all can catch it. But until next time, but let me mention that Friday, I may go live tomorrow. I don't want to promise, but I may go live tomorrow because my schedule didn't look like it was too crazy. But I may go live. Okay. All right. Until next time. All right. Love y'all.